In today's video, we learn about what is probability, its important point, the important terms used in probability like experiment, outcome, event, and the definitions of probability, classical or priori definition, empirical or posteriori, subjective probability. But if you are new in my channel, please subscribe the channel, also press bell icon to receive latest videos. So let's start. What is probability? A value lies between 0 and 1 and describing the relative possibilities of an event will occur. Our relative possibilities of chances are likelihood of the occurrence of an event. The meaning of probability is basically the extent to which something is likely to happen. The important points are: range of probability lies between 0 and 1. If probability is 0, it means something cannot happen which you want to study. If probability is equal to 1, it means something is sure to happen. Probability can be expressed in decimal form or in fraction form. Both possibilities occur. The keywords used in the study of probability in mostly studies anywhere, the most familiar terms are experiment, outcome, event. So go in depth knowledge. First we study these terms. What is experiment? A process that leads to the occurrence of one and only one of several possible observations. This whole procedure is called experiment. For example, if we did any experiment which have several outcomes and the result given only in one possible outcome, so this procedure is experiment. A lot of examples we can present here, but the most familiar are coin tossing experiment, rolling a die. What is outcome? The result obtained from an experiment. Suppose tossing a coin is an experiment and you obtain the result of head. So this is the head is the outcome. Event: the collection of one or more outcomes of an experiment is called event. For example, rolling a die is any experiment, and the outcome, which is even numbers or odd numbers, obtain the results consist of even numbers. This is event. A single result is outcome and a set of outcomes is experiment. We can understand these terms here in this chart. Here these black word written in the heading. So here is the heading experiment, roll a die. So roll a die is the experiment. This is written in blue words, and this is an other example which is written in green words. Count the number of members of board of directors for Fortune 500 companies who are over 60 years of age. So this is our experiment. Our task is we count the members of board of directors of 500 companies whose age is above 60 years. So this is our experiment, and in this example roll a die is experiment. So all possible outcomes, observation 1 2 3 4 5 6. So these are the outcomes, any observation, because if we roll a die we get the answer of 1 2 3 4 5 6, any one answer. So this is outcome, any single result is outcome. So during this experiment none are over 16, maybe no director has age over 60, 1 over 62, so on, 30, 48, 58, any number we obtain. So this single result is the outcome. So here is possible event. What are the possible events of these two experiments? So observe an even numbers. If we get the set of even numbers like 2 4 and 6, the set of 2 4 6, this is event. Observing a number greater than 4, greater than 4 means 5 and 6, the set of 5 and 6 is the event. Observe a number 3 or less, 3 or less means 1 2 3. So the set of outcomes, this set of outcomes is also called event. Here more than 30 are over 16. A set of 13 members of board of directors who are over 16. So each individual person is outcome, a set of outcomes is event. So fewer than 20 are over 16. So this is also another example of event. So I think we clear the concept, these concepts. Now we move forward. Definition of probability. We can understand this with the help of this chart. Definition are approaches to probability. The first you think two types of the approaches are definition of probability: objective, subjective. Subjective probability based on available information. If we have any current information, we have no information about past events, so based on current informations we move towards the subjective probability. What is objective probability? Objective probability has two types: classical probability, empirical probability. In classical probability based on equally likely outcomes. If we have outcomes and every individual outcome have equal chances to the occurrence in classical probability. Empirical probability, it is based on relative frequencies. Now we move forward to study in detail classical probability or priori definition of probability. It is based on assumption that outcomes of an experiment are equally likely. Each outcome have equal chances to occur. It is obtained by dividing the number of favorable outcomes by the total number of possible outcomes. Its mathematical formula can be explained as probability of an event is equal to number of favorable outcome over total number of possible outcomes. It means any number of outcomes which are possible to occur and the total number of outcomes. In this way we obtain the formula of classical or priori probability. Here we can understand this definition with the help of an example. Consider an experiment of rolling a 6-sided die. What is the probability of an event? An even number of spot appears face up. So these suppose this is a die, these are the outcomes. This show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. These are the possible answers in rolling a die. So there are three favorable outcomes: 2, 4 and 6 in the collection of 6 equally likely outcomes, because we have these three even numbers 2, 4 and 6. So therefore in calculating the probability, number of favorable outcomes 3, total number of possible outcomes 6, we get the answer 0.5. Here we study the empirical probability. This type of probability is based on relative frequencies. Probability of an event happening is determined by observing what fraction of time similar event happen in the past. Other names of empirical probability are statistical probability, relative or posteriori probability. This probability is based on basis on the past event, similar event which happened in the past. So here is formula: number of times event occur in past, total number of observations. Here we study the example on Feb 1, 2003, the space shuttle Columbia exploded. This was second disaster in 113 space mission for NASA. On the basis of this information, what is the probability that a future mission is successfully completed? Probability of a successful flight is equal to number of successful flights over total number of flights. So on the basis of past information, out of 113, total 113 flights, 111 are the successful flights. So successful are 111 and total are 113. So we got the answer 0.95. So on the basis of this information, we can say that in future there is 98% chances that space shuttle will be successful. So on the basis of past information, probability is 0.98 that future space shuttle mission will be successfully completed. So now we move towards what is subjective or personalistic probability. It is based on person's beliefs or person's experience. So we can study here: if there is a little or no past experience or information on which to base we conclude a probability, it may be arrived at subjective. It means an individual evaluate the available opinion and other information to assign the probability. Here is the definition: the probability of particular event happening that is assigned by an individual based on whatever information is available. So this is the definition of subjective or personalistic probability. Thanks for watching. If you want to see videos on probability value, scale of measurements, degree of freedom and z-scores, links are given here.